Welcome to the 5G podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversation about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode. Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins. Shout out to all the apparently not Gen Z kids who don't know that.
Yeah. I mean, that was like such a cultural...
Yeah.
Like even like non-gamers knew.
Yeah, non-World of Warcraft especially.
Yeah.
You knew Leroy Jenkins. He was on Jeopardy.
Was he really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I've seen that clip bounce around, from back then.
That's very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. We just want to go down the list here?
Yeah, let's do it.
So
it's election season. We mentioned the past couple episodes.
it is.
You got your ballots today. Excellent job.
I am turning my balance in today.
Do your civic duty, folks. I think by the time the episode airs on Tuesday, at least in Arizona, that's the last day for like the early mail-in.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I'm gonna go drop mine off at the post office right now.
Yeah.
Well, after this.
Vote. It's good. It's good for you.
It is. And then this episode will air 1 week exactly before the election.
Or election day.
We'll have an episode that airs on election day, and we'll wave a flag of who we think's gonna win. Just kidding.
I was tempted. I was driving home the other day and I saw just like a flag stand for like $10. I was like, I should like, they had American flags and then they also had campaign flags. I was like, probably $10. They were like good sized flags. Like, that'd be fun to like hang up in my house in my man cave. Like, I don't have an American flag for as much as I am a patriot. I enjoy the American flag, 4th of July, independence, all that. I'm like, I should have an American flag. Hanging one up outdoors feels like a lot. I don't know if I'm ready for that responsibility, but
I will say, I have a big problem with how some people hang their flags.
No, because there's a lot of rules. It is a responsibility.
And most of people don't follow any of the rules.
They don't do it right.
And it's like, once it gets a little bit tattered, you're supposed to replace it.
Yep.
You're supposed to, if you're not taking it down at night, you're supposed to have a light on it at all times. And it's like, if I'm going to do it, I got to follow the rules,
Yes, absolutely.
And it's like, I don't let American flags touch the ground.
No,
because that's the rule,
Rule. That can't just be a Boy Scout and a military thing, but maybe it's...
I think it's flag code.
Yeah.
I think it's part of the flag code. I don't know.
Obviously, there's no, like, flag police going around like, stop, you let the flag touch the ground. But it's just like a responsibility to the flag, so...
Well, yeah, and it is a symbol of, the country and stuff like that.
My wife tells me that she thinks I'd enjoy it. She's probably right. Like the little bit of like taking care of the flag. Like, oh, hey, sun's going down. I got to go bring my flag in. Like,
yeah,
I probably would actually. I gotta fold it up nice and take care of it, and I think it'd be cool. America.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get one for this year. Celebrate patriotism. Woo, election season.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Anyway.
The big news.
The big political news.
And the not opinionated political news.
Yeah, it's cool. We're just reporting on it.
Yeah. Last night, at time of recording, Trump went on to the Joe Rogan Experience podcast.
Yeah. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Just this little podcast that some bald guy does.
It's the biggest podcast
in the world.
Yeah.
But I thought it was very fascinating that they would do this for a couple of reasons. One, Joe Rogan, I'm not an avid listener. I don't listen to every episode.
Yeah.
When there's an episode that intrigues me, I'll go and listen to most of it. Most of the science ones. I don't listen to any of the comedian ones anymore.
Or the pop culture ones.
Yeah.
And that's his shtick now. Is he's always like interviewing a person, long form.
Yeah, but he interviews everyone.
Yeah,
right. Like, which is really cool. It's not like this is a science podcast. This is a comedy podcast. He's just like,
at the point he's at, he's famous enough. He can interview anyone.
Well, yeah,
literally.
And what's interesting is that he has always done it this way.
Yeah, yeah.
He never started with just comedians. Anyway. Joe Rogan has said multiple times that he would not have Trump on.
Yeah,
he didn't want to promote his campaign. He said this in 2020. He said this in
because he's apolitical.
He doesn't even claim he's apolitical.
Oh, okay.
He has thoughts that are that span the political spectrum.
Sure.
But he grew up as a Democrat type person, as a more liberal person. And personally, I don't know if he would admit this, but I think his opinions have changed after moving to Texas.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Which, fair enough. His opinions really changed during the lockdowns of COVID and stuff like that.
Well, and when his podcast got banned for a bit.
Yeah, true.
Definitely causes a man to think about it when they take away your way of living.
Yeah. So anyway, but he had Trump on last night, and it's probably going to be the most watched podcast ever.
Yeah.
For decades to come.
I mean, the biggest podcast with like the biggest presidential candidate ever. Like,
yeah. Trump went on. I think that is a very, very interesting thing because it's multiple hours.
Yeah, three.
2.5 to 3. Yeah, usually is what his podcasts are. He's done a couple that are like 5.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, 2.5, 3 is the normal. And he went on, and I thought that's a really cool thing because there's no scripts allowed. There's no teleprompters or anything like that, which I don't know if Trump uses those all that often anyway.
Right.
Probably to his detriment sometimes.
He can get a little off topic. And I'm sure Joe Rogan has like some questions prepared for each guest beforehand, but they're not like, I don't know, debate level questions.
No,
he's just having a conversation with his guests.
He does it in a very respectful way, but he does push them on hard topics. On things, and he is a very amicable person. And so it doesn't seem like an attack on you when he does ask these very hard questions, in my opinion, from like what I've seen. But I thought it was very interesting that a presidential candidate, any of the presidential candidates, would go on to a podcast and answer these questions that are unscripted, unprepared conversations where it's like, you could screw up and say something bad.
You're in enemy territory, quote unquote, for 3 hours, like out of your control territory.
Yeah. What's interesting to see is that both President Trump and JD Vance have been doing this tour of podcasts recently, of the bigger podcasts.
It's cool to see.
I love it.
Because like 20, 30 years ago, like that's not what presidential candidates do.
10 years ago.
Yeah, that's not what you do in a campaign. No. You go to states and you hold rallies.
4 years ago, that wasn't a thing.
No, not really.
I mean, 4 years ago was Trump and Biden.
Yeah.
And it was during COVID. It was during people COVID. Were still doing podcasts during COVID.
Yeah.
And, you can do a podcast over Zoom, whatever, right? But no one was even thinking about doing that.
No, yeah. And it seems like, I don't know, more modern, or like you're reaching more people.
Yeah, and
rallies.
And Trump has had many presidential candidates. Joe Rogan has had many presidential candidates on his podcast. He had Bernie Sanders when he in
2016,
2020, I believe, when he was campaigning against Biden in the primaries.
Oh. He did that? No, I didn't think he did that in 2020.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I mean, after they kicked him out in 2016, I'm surprised they even gave him a chance.
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Because it was, or it might have been in 2019. I
didn't think they like gave anyone a.
Well, yeah, they did, because it was.
Was Bernie Sanders?
Bernie Sanders
again? Really?
Tulsi Gabbard was 2020.
And Kamala.
Kamala Harris was 2020. Pete Buttigieg.
Okay.
Was it Cory Booker as well?
It might have been, yeah.
Senator from where?
And Andrew Yang, yeah. Okay.
Andrew Yang and
you're right.
Amy Klobuchar.
Oh.
Is that how you say your last name? Klobuchar?
Yeah.
Klobuchar?
That's how I've heard it. I forgot Bernie Sanders was in there too. Again, because after they just
they kind of handed it to Biden a little bit.
They did not like Bernie Sanders in 2016 against Hillary, so they...
Honestly, for as much as I disagree with all of his policies, I think Bernie Sanders is probably one of the most honest politicians.
He seems like an okay guy. Yeah.
Yeah, like as a human being, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I think you're because of your policy choices.
Very much disagree with the policies,
Like,
but you as a person, like,
yeah, like I think, and I think his heart is in the right place for it, right?
we could be a grandpa at like a family
For sure,
reunion and
100%.
Just have a conversation.
100%. And I don't think he's unintelligent either.
Yeah.
A lot of people who disagree with his far left leaning political views are like, this guy's an idiot. And it's like, I mean, I understand where you're coming from because I disagree with them as well, right? And I think that they're stupid ideas, but I don't think that a stupid idea makes you a stupid person.
No, certainly not.
And I think that he definitely is someone that, how do I say this? I think that if he had won in 2016, we would not be in the situation that we are now, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I think that he is someone who has the ability in the way he speaks. I don't know. Anyway,
That's fair.
I'm not a Bernie Sanders fan. This is like it's me coming off like that I'm a Bernie Sanders fan. I'm not. But anyway. So these reeling it way back, Stephen.
Yes. Bring it back, Stephen.
It's really cool to see these candidates go on these podcasts.
They seem like normal people.
Yeah. And JD Vance has done a lot of them.
Oh yeah, he's done so many.
And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because
he's young.
He's young.
He still has his whole political career ahead of him, which I think is kind of cool.
And I don't think he's hit 40 yet, has he? I think he's still in his 30s.
He's late 30s, something like that.
Yeah, I think he's like 38 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. I think that he is much more well-spoken than Trump is.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's able to convey messages much more efficiently.
Yeah.
And much more eloquently.
He's
he sounds like middle America and not like a New Yorker.
He's the statesman to Trump's like.
He seems like the leash.
Sure, yeah.
To the bulldog. Kind of,
that's fair. This is my political opinion, but I think Trump on foreign policy is what you want. He's very much the bulldog on foreign policy, but he's not a statesman. Obviously, he's not refined as we expect our politicians to be. The founding fathers, right? Whereas JD Vance is very smart. He's very refined. He's very...
Yeah. I think it's very funny that we have this idea that the founding fathers were refined, and then you go and you think it's like, oh, no, they were crazy people. Ben
Franklin showing up with like hookers on either arm to the Constitutional Congress.
Well, do you remember when, what was it, when they won the Revolutionary War, or there was some party that they had, and there was 16 people, and there was like, they have the bill of what was bought, and it's like 2 kegs of beer, 13 bottles of whiskey, 2 bottles of wine, like just a crazy list of like alcohol
for that like, amount of people.
Oh, these guys were raging alcoholics.
That's funny. Why are you even mad that they taxed the tea? Like, I think you already are just, you're on the American way, like alcohol instead.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's hilarious that they were. Everyone's like, oh, but the founding fathers would never do this. The founding fathers fought a war and shot people in the face. Like, George Washington was charging into battle.
It was like, how
about we get back to those types of presidents?
Right.
Let's get back to the Teddy Roosevelt president. Yeah.
I always go back to, he was my favorite.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I want that as my president. Like Eisenhower, where it's like a general.
Not refined at all. But like.
I want my president to go up to the stand and drop an F-bomb.
Listen here, folks.
Listen here, you F-heads. Like, this is how we're doing this.
Get this through your head. Yeah.
I want him to, just Teddy Roosevelt, George Washington, that type of like,
Such gusto.
Yeah. Have you seen the Shane Gillis bit about George Washington?
I don't think so, no.
George Washington was a humongous dude for the time,
6'4".
right? 6'4" in 1775.
Yeah,
he's ginormous. Massive. And he had his like wooden and lead teeth and horse teeth or whatever it was, that because I don't know why.
No,
but
bad dental care.
True, but
Britain didn't give them dental
I would
insurance.
suggest going to watch the Shane Gillis bit of him doing George Washington. It is roll on the floor laughing.
Nice.
It's so funny. And it's like, my favorite part is, you have a question why we won this? You have a 6'4" red-headed retard with wooden and lead teeth running out of the forest with a sword, and you have a 5'2" British man with a one-shot musket going, oh, good heavens!
Load faster, come on.
It's a very, another part of it, and you have to go watch it. I'm not doing it justice, right? Mm-hmm. He goes, my favorite battle was the Christmas Eve battle when we defeated the Hessians, the Hessian mercenaries, the Germanic mercenaries, right?
Valley Forge, yeah.
He goes, they correctly assumed that no sane person would cross a frozen river on Christmas Eve.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night. No sane person would do that. Unfortunately, for them,
they've never met Americans.
They've never met Americans who are not sane.
No. This is a perfect plan.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's good.
I would suggest that bit to anyone. It's absolutely fantastic. And there it is. There's the
America.
Yeah.
To end it up.
Woo! Go vote.
Patriotism.
It's important.
Yeah.
Even if you think your vote doesn't count.
So
it does. Because aggregates count.
Yeah, definitely. Last week when we talked about a political rally on Twitch with World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I like to think that we said, okay, and 10 years ago they weren't even on podcasts, now they're getting on more podcasts. Maybe in 10, 20 years they'll actually be playing video games. I think. We can hope.
We can hope.
Yeah.
I would love to see a gamer president.
Right. That'd be pretty cool. He's got his own guild in World of Warcraft. I don't know.
I don't even care about that. It's like,
But he's just down to earth guy, actually streaming on Twitch.
I think I told you last week that I would love to see a president just stream on Twitch for 2 hours a week.
Yeah, yeah.
And just do an impromptu Q&A or State of the Union type
but
thing.
Just trying to get all the audiences, yeah.
And it's I'm going to be testing out this new video game for the first time. Come watch the President of the United States play Quibblebots or whatever.
I got an early release copy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I think we're getting there as it gets more modern. I'm trying to think of the next step in technology.
Well, when you're president, Trevor, we can.
When I'm president, we can talk about that. We make that happen.
Do you want to talk about some Magic the Gathering?
Magic the Gathering news, yeah. Big news this week, Stephen. Big news.
I love big news.
Huge
news.
Frankly,
absolutely gargantuan.
That's what they tell me, folks. Magic the Gathering. I don't even know where to begin. We up to date. It's hard to keep track of all the Magic news, but Marvel is coming out. We talked about that last week.
The end of 2025 is the Spider-Man
is the set. Marvel Spider-Man set. And then I think after that is also Final Fantasy.
No, before that is Final Fantasy.
Before that's Final Fantasy.
And then there's a third Universes Beyond that is been unannounced yet.
Gotcha.
At the end of the year.
Okay. Because this week they showed some of the Final Fantasy artwork.
Mm-hmm.
None of the cards, but the artwork looks like Final Fantasy.
Sure.
They pulled in some Final Fantasy artists. So they're working in collab with that. That makes sense. We'll, the other bit of news is that going forward, every Universes Beyond product is standard legal. So that's the Final Fantasy is in the summer then, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The Spider-Man's probably closer to fall.
I think it's September. It's an unannounced date so far, but everyone's saying it's going to be end of August to early September, maybe into October.
So every Universes Beyond set is standard legal, and they're pushing out 2 Universes Beyond set at least a year.
I think it's 3
plus
next year.
Still the supplemental things.
Yeah.
So that's now 6 standard sets a year at least. Where it used to be 4, and it used to be 3.
I think next year is already going to be 7, isn't it?
Next year it's supposed to be 6, is what they said. But
I saw a video this morning.
There's 3 normal Magic sets, and then the 3 Universes Beyonds. planned for next year. Oh, well, including if you count Foundations.
Maybe that's what they were counting.
Which is the new core set that comes out like in a month or two.
Let me see here. Maybe I didn't save it. I might not have saved it. I did not save it. I should have saved it. I apologize, sir.
No, that's fine. The main difference being is that with previous Universes Beyond, right, it's like you can get your other IPs in Magic the Gathering. So like Doctor Who, Warhammer, but those were only Commander, which A, was the most popular format, and B, you can generally avoid that in a Commander game if you don't want to see that. Commander and Legacy, which is an old format that not a whole lot of people play anyway, and a lot of those cards are not powerful enough for Legacy anyway. So
sure.
But now that every Universes Beyond is going to be standard legal, they're legal. If something's legal and standard is legal in every format, standard is the entry point. So every Universes Beyond is just going to be. You're going to see it. You're going to see everything.
What do you think of this as? What do you think of that? I have a thought, and I don't know if it's it's not a solidified opinion, but I have a thought.
I have two different opinions. The one I think is like from a game standpoint, standard is the entry point, and so a lot of things are balanced for standard. So it's like from a game balance standpoint, the odds of like a Universes Beyond card dominating a format where like if somebody doesn't want to see a Spider-Man card, the odds are low of them seeing it because it's going to be a standard card. So like it's probably not going to dominate Legacy. That doesn't happen. They had the Lord of the Rings set was straight to Modern, and you do see a lot of those cards in Modern because they're balanced for Modern. They're stronger than your average standard legal card. So even though there's going to be more Universes Beyond, I don't think they're going to be as prevalent throughout Magic. My other opinion is like from the IP standpoint, Magic the Gathering is just like turning into Fortnite, where they're just a delivery vehicle for your favorite pop culture things. And so we already know there's more of them, and they're going to be in every format now. And it's, you got to keep up with all of them because you're going to see them. You're going to see them now, regardless of what format you play. And then back on the other hand, it's like, okay, I can draft the Spider-Man set. That might be kind of cool. To do just a Spider-Man draft or whatever, a Final Fantasy draft. So I'm really, I don't know, it's a toss-up.
Yeah, I am kind of in the same boat. I think I think that maybe because all of the other Universes Beyond sets and a lot of the Commander sets have been balanced around those two, balanced around Commander as a format, which I think is a little bit more power creepy than standard or Modern. I think that these decks that they're coming out with are going to be underpowered compared to what people might expect.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think the precons would technically be standard legal.
Yeah, it might have a couple Commander exclusive cards, but yeah, generally, as they do with any of the Commander precons.
But
for a standard set, they're always a little weaker.
Yeah, and so it's like, and that might be a good thing. That could be a good thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. But it also feels like I agree with you that I think there's too many.
Oh yeah.
I think if we got one summer release of a Universes Beyond, and one Christmas release of a Universes Beyond, and then one or two sets for each format in between there, I would love to see a popper set.
Oh yeah, only commons.
Only commons.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of reprints, right? But reprints aren't a bad thing.
And Pauper, a lot of it is downshifting to common as well. Like old uncommons. You're like, oh yeah.
I mean, that would be fine if they retconned an uncommon from 2002.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's a common now. Play with it.
Yeah,
go crazy. In Pauper.
Anyway,
yeah, it's interesting. Commander has always been the format for like creative expression. So like, if they wanted to do My Little Ponies in Commander, you'd be like, okay, whatever, I guess. But now, if it's like My Little Ponies in Standard, I don't know. That's the competitive formats.
Have you seen some of the previews for the normal sets? The not Universe Beyond. We're going to a lot of planes that I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they've totally announced.
The first set is going back to Innistrad.
Yeah, that one's a reprint set. I think they said it's Innistrad remastered, so it's all reprints.
I think there was a set after that. We were also at Innistrad though, and it was a new set, wasn't it?
See, they're.
Oh no, I think we're going to Dominaria again.
The names of the next ones I had pulled up here. I
saw a roadmap this morning, and I've forgotten.
Foundations. What was the name of this new one? Aether Drift is one we're going to. I don't know if they announced what plane that was on. And then we're going back to Tarkir as well next year. Those are the two I know of. Aether Drift and something Tarkir.
There's the let's see. I can't find it here. We are getting a space-themed set.
Oh, that's the
tennis one?
Yes, you're right. They did have a name of that one, but no cards or anything.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. There's six standard sets next year, so it's hard to keep track.
I'm trying to find it real quick.
Yeah, you're right. I did see the timeline with its name and
a fuzzy picture behind it.
Yeah, because it was
what I saw
later in the year, so it was less info on it.
Why did this? Oh, it's because I'm retarded and pulled up WotC roadmap and it pulled up Dungeons and Dragons.
Ah, yeah.
Anyway, oh, maybe this will do it. Sorry. Intermission.
Just have our producer pull it up on screen.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
And I'm trying to fill the space.
Okay. Come on, Steven.
So Magic the Gathering is a game.
Okay. First one. February is Aether Drift.
Aether Drift, yep.
It's a death race across 3 different planes of the multiverse.
Oh, 3 different planes. Okay.
February 2025, it will include lots of vehicles and the main race, which will happen between 10 teams, each of its own identity, made of 2 different colors. The main stories involves Chandra as she takes part in the race to win the ultimate prize, the Aether Spark, blah, blah, blah.
Weird.
April is Tarkir Dragonstorms.
That's it, yeah.
Return to Tarkir after 10 years. It's a timeline altered by Sarkhan Vol.
He was the bad guy.
Yeah. So we're getting the Khans and the Dragons back.
They did 3 color groupings in that set, so.
Yep. So the sets will be a combination of what fans loved in Khans of Tarkir, including the 3 color cards of dragons.
Yep.
Then June is Final Fantasy.
Yep.
You can skip that. Edge of Eternities is August.
Edging of Eternities. It's gonna be so many jokes about that one. Which we don't. That was the one that's just space.
Space fantasy as a whole, like planets, aliens, space battles, and more.
Battles.
Tezzeret returns in Edge of Eternities, and he's going to be the main villain of the story.
Okay. He's like the artifact robot themed bad guy. So.
And then Spider-Man Universes Beyond is a TBA.
Yeah.
And then
the last one.
The last one is another unannounced Universes Beyond.
That's it. Yep.
So. All right, we got it.
A lot of magic coming up.
Yeah, we've said this before. I will hold on to my opinions about the space theme.
Yeah.
Because fantasy and
sci-fi
don't mix. We said this about Duskborn.
Yeah.
How it's a little bit too real.
Real world in the fantasy. Well, how do you feel about I know how you feel about sci-fi and fantasy mixing. How do you feel about fantasy and SpongeBob mixing?
What?
They announced also a SpongeBob secret layer.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
That's freaking
at
hilarious.
The same thing. Which, like, it's just a secret layer, so there's probably not going to be unique cards. I don't know, there might be. It might just be reskins with SpongeBob art. Some of the secret layers have been new cards, though.
The Captain America.
Yeah, the Marvel ones.
The Marvel ones.
Black Panther. Those
Iron
are
Man.
Unique cards sold as limited exclusive secret layers. Now we're going to have SpongeBob.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
What is the release date of that one?
2025.
At some point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cultural icon of the U.S. I don't know how it plays out across the world map.
Bob Esponja. South America.
Bob Esponja?
Bob Esponja.
Oh,
Bob Sponge.
Wow.
Yeah. At least in South America.
I've never heard the Portuguese name for SpongeBob.
My favorite is Don Cangrejo, is Mr. Krabs, but Don is like
boss,
the mafia Don. Like,
yeah,
so he's Boss Crab. Yeah. SpongeBob in Magic the Gathering. Does that change your opinion on anything we've already said?
I mean, it's a fantasy world.
I guess, yeah.
Is it technically? I don't think it's fantasy.
It's real life, I guess.
I don't even know what to...
Where does SpongeBob fit into the multiverse?
That is a strange choice, I will say.
Yeah. It'll probably be 5 cards only and then blow over. I mean, it's fine.
You know what? But hey, you know what? They did the Hakuna No, I got this.
You got this. You know this one. Very close. You're very close.
Hatsunomike. Freaking nuts.
It was just pronunciation. You had all the right syllables in the right order. So it's Hatsune Miku.
Oh, I switched the... Yeah. I switched the O and the E. Yeah.
Which, that's how Japan works. It's just smashing syllables together. So like, you probably pronounce somebody else's name. Hatsune Miku crossover to get
the
those
Vocaloid
fans.
I know that word still.
Nice.
That one is something that I would have said that's weird too originally, but it's sold out in record time both times. And I think one of them was just one card.
Yeah, it might have been even.
I think the second time it was just one card, I believe. Maybe not.
Yeah. It was just 5 special arts of cards, like no mechanically unique.
Yeah, if they see that there's a market there,
I guess.
There probably is. I don't know whom that is, but
the last big news, and then maybe I can do a couple of the spoilers. Oh, they also have Jumpstart 2025, those are fun products. They're fine. They're just designed to get 2 boosters. You smash them together, and then you play a little mini game. That's not really a full release, but sometimes they have a couple unique cards in there, usually for Commander. The other big news is that MSRP is returning.
Is it really?
Manufacturer suggested retail price is returning.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah,
Did they release the prices?
They did.
Are they egregious or are they reasonable?
They're kind of on par with the inflation since they got rid of the MSRP at $4 for a draft booster and $6 for a set booster. So that was a few years ago. Now we have play boosters, which is a combination of the two. And accounting for inflation, they're going to be $5.49.
Okay, so $6 for
the play booster, which is probably what stores were charging anyway.
And it's 15 cards in a pack?
15. Seems fine, I guess. They're starting with the Foundation set coming up later this year. They are really pushing this for new players. It's going to be the gateway set. So those MSRPs are going to be slightly lower. They have a little beginner box. They're going to sell for $29.99, and their boosters are only $5.25.
Oh, a whole 25 cents cheaper.
Yeah. I guess they don't have commander decks with that one, but the commander decks for the normal sets are going to be $44.99. Which,
oh, that's not egregious at all.
No, again, counting for inflation, when they got rid of MSRP like 4 years ago, was $39.99 for standard commander decks. So now it's
$45. I don't find that to be egregious. I don't see that being.
I think that's better because, again, even in some of these standard sets with no MSRP, they were just fluctuating so much. If one had a Chase reprint, stores were selling it for $80.
Yeah.
And then that one sold out, or it was bad for consumers generally.
Yeah.
Generally. I think that's fine. You sell them all at the MSRP. You go to your local game store, that's what you should expect to pay.
Yeah. Do you think that game stores are going to be wow, big silence there. Because I think game stores benefited from not having an MSRP.
I think so, yeah.
Do you think that they're going to be do you think that this will be the demise of some game stores?
Game stores rise and fall so often. It's hard to say.
Well, and we've gone over this. Most game store owners are nerds, not business people.
Not business owners, yeah.
You need to have a nerdy aspect to open a game store, but
yeah. The big like Wizards of the Coast affiliate stores now that have to charge MSRP because that's like their agreement, they'll be fine because they move enough product anyway. The smaller game stores that can charge whatever they want anyway, they're not a Wizards of the Coast partner. They might like suffer a little bit, but they thrive from their community anyway. So if they want to upcharge, personally, they lose me because I'm a consumer and I go to the best available price.
Sure.
I don't really care about brand loyalty that much.
Do you think demand or supply, though, will be affected?
I don't think so. Because I'm assuming that's the price it's going to be in big box stores as well. Like, if I can go to Target to get my Commander deck for $44.99, why would I support my local game store if they're upcharging to $60?
Well, but I mean, do you think that everywhere is going to sell out because now they're cheaper?
Oh,
the good decks are going to be cheaper.
That's a possibility, yeah. If even like Amazon runs out of supply of the good deck of the set of 4 that releases. I don't know. Wizards of the Coast does print a lot for the standard sets.
Yeah.
So I don't think so. I think generally supply would be fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That I have no opinion on it, so that was.
Yeah.
I think that MSRP is a good thing.
Yeah.
One thing that MSRP does in the gun world, and I don't know if this is true of the Magic world or not, but it's a thing in the gun world, is that usually the MSRP is higher than what you find it for on shelves.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I'm curious to know if that happens
with Magic products.
If it reduces the price even further than the intended reduction in price.
My local game store sells it for $40 now. I'm like, that's a great deal.
Exactly,
yeah.
Right? Where, yeah. So
$5 off, sure.
And everyone in the gun space knows this, right? It's like, oh, Glock suggests or MSRP is $650.
So it's like, don't pay more than that.
Ever.
Like,
yeah, and so you're going to find it on shelves for $550, $575. Like, everyone knows that, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and you can, it's a little bit more convoluted. Buy directly from the producer most of the time. So
at that price. Yeah.
At that price. At the MSRP price. So
I think it is generally good news. It's finally coming back for some reason.
Yeah.
So
that is good.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're making some decent decisions.
Yeah. I can
or what in my opinion are decent decisions.
Appear to be decent decisions.
Let me tell you, you and I have been correct about a lot of things so far.
Yeah. That's good to know.
For just a little snippet, we don't have to go too in depth into it before we get into the spoilers, if you don't mind.
Sure.
The WotC stock price per share earnings came out, as well as anyway, about a year ago, I think at this point, maybe a little bit less than a year, maybe beginning of this year, we said WotC might be going a little bit or Hasbro, right, who owns WotC, will be going, I think I gave my opinion and we both agreed that, their stock price might be a little bit overvalued based on their earnings at that point. And lo and behold, a couple days ago, their stock price tanked after their earnings call came out.
Yeah, okay.
So we were right.
Nice.
Hired Stephen and Trevor for your business analytical needs.
Financial analysts. No certifications or anything, but
we're just two stupid people on a couch.
We have a lot of experience.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. That's all you need for the resume. The 3 to 10 years of experience for an entry level position.
Yep.
That's us. There were a couple spoilers we can talk about. We also have many topics to get to, but I can share at least some because we'll probably have more spoilers next week, presumably,
and for another year to come.
Very true, very true. So a couple of the fun ones for Commander are in the Jumpstart cards coming out. They did some standard spoilers of the Aether Drift and whatever. I'm like, we could talk about those later. The Foundations. A lot of the Foundations cards is like for beginners, so they're just kind of simple whatevers. Like, oh, look, there's another version that when you gain life, you put a 1/1 counter on the thing. Ooh, okay. But this one is cool. He's the very first, to my knowledge, legendary Saproling.
Oh, very cool.
Saprolings are normally just tokens. They're normally just little plant guys.
Is Saproling, besides a token, a creature type?
I don't think it's been on a printed card, to my knowledge. I think they maybe wanted to do it previously, but usually it's like a fungus.
Yeah, or a spore maybe?
Yeah, or a tree folk who makes the saprolings, which are little baby tree things. So this guy, he looks like a mushroom, but he is a legendary saproling.
When you type saproling into...
as a search for creature type?
It doesn't come up. Let me do it.
Yeah, okay. So that's why I had to talk about my man.
Saproling card type is a new card type.
Thought so. Okay. Printed on a creature.
Yep.
So I got to talk about my man, Shroofus.
Shroofus. Great name for Saproling.
Shroofus Sproutsire. Say that 10 times fast.
Shroofus Sproutsire.
Shroofus Sprout. And here's the art. He's just a goofy mushroom.
Oh, he is fantastic.
That's magic flavor right there.
That is a great card.
Shroofus. Mono green, as you would expect with Saprolings.
This is perfect.
He's a 2 and a green, so 3 mana, 1/1. That's fine. All the Saprolings are 1/1s. He has to be a 1/1.
Yeah.
With Trample.
I love a good 1/1 with Trample.
A 1/1 with Trample. He's charging Badger stats. And whenever a Saproling you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 green Saproling creature tokens.
Trevor, I'm not going to lie. He's legendary.
Yeah, legendary.
That sounds like one of the most fun mono green decks you could ever build.
And you would just flavor. You're like, yeah, my man Shroofus, he's leading the charge, and all the Saprolings.
And you just everything that creates a Saproling, you just throw it out.
You get a bunch of 1/1s, and then you make more 1/1s. Yeah, Shroofus.
I love it.
Seems pretty good.
I love it.
Had to give him a shout out. And then the other cool one from Jumpstart 2025, I think they're calling it. We have the second printing ever of a legend. This is the first legendary, but it's the second printing of a Turtle Ninja. Ninja Turtles, obviously. I don't know why Turtle Ninja has to be first in Magic rulings. They could have done Ninja Turtle.
Probably copyright,
I guess. No, it's alphabetical.
Well, they always do the animal before the job. Yeah, it's not a ninja rat, it's a rat ninja.
It's a rat ninja. Okay.
And a snake ninja.
Gotcha. Yeah, I wasn't sure
the human ninja.
What was their specific ruling on that? What if he's a human elf? Do they always do human elf?
I don't think the human elves are a thing.
Yeah, right? They had some half elves in the D&D set, yeah. Anyway, Turtle Ninja, but this guy's a legendary Turtle Ninja, so you can make a Ninja Turtle deck now with the 2 Ninja Turtles. Universes Beyond, Steven, there's a chance of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle decks. He's thinking about it.
That would be actually a really cool set.
So this guy, spoilers, actually works with the ninjutsu mechanic.
Dude,
cool.
You could have freaking Donatello and do the pizza as like a food token deck.
Yeah.
The pizza deck.
Pizza.
And it's...
would they each get their own deck?
White and red.
One?
No, because you have to have a food deck in there with him.
Yeah.
But then you could have honestly, I would love to see 6 commander decks on a Ninja Turtle thing.
Okay. 1 for each turtle, and then Splinter and Shredder and all the bad guys, yeah.
Yeah. The Foot Clan.
The Foot Clan, yeah. That'd be cool.
Ninja Turtles is a great IP, man.
Ninja Turtles is pretty sick. So this guy, Magic, back to Magic.
Sorry.
Real Magic. Not other IPs. This is Tycho, the Patient Avalanche. He's a 3 and a blue, so 4 mana, 4/5. He enters tapped. Oh, enters the battlefield tapped. That looked weird to me. So 4 mana, 4/5 is pretty good stats, but you can't block with him because he enters tapped, which is weird because he's patient. Whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it didn't die, you scry 1 and put a 1/1 counter on him. So ninjutsu.
Ooh.
Leaves the battlefield without dying. And then whenever he attacks, you can pay a hybrid blue-black to fit in the black ninjas. And when you do, target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn.
Ooh.
So he's not amazing compared to other ninja-themed commanders, but he's pretty good. And he works with the ninjutsu theme.
Very well.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't think...
you get to scry
He's
1.
not as good as the Tigress.
No.
Yuriko, the Tiger Shadow, or whatever her name
with
is.
Commander Ninjutsu.
Yeah.
Who isn't really the best ninja commander.
Who's the best ninja commander?
Well, that's what I mean. Her deck is all just built around combos.
Yeah, sure.
The actual way to build her deck. And then your deck,
Satoru
Umezawa turns anyone into a ninja.
Yeah.
Is kind of his theme.
That's a decent deck.
At the very least, you're getting value, you're scrying, and you're making him bigger. And then you're guaranteed getting unblockables, so you can get more ninjas and make him bigger. And
yeah, honestly, that just paying 1 mana to get an unblockable creature is great.
Yep. Pretty solid.
Honestly, with the scrying aspect of it, it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it's fun. And the best comment I saw, the best community thing was this is a good ninja commander that won't make the entire table groan when you bring him to the commander game. You play Ninja Turtles. Okay, it's a ninja commander that seems kind of fair and balanced.
It's a blue deck that's still combat focused.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
The flavor is on point.
Yeah.
Ninja themed.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Yeah. Couple new fun Magic cards coming out, so
yeah.
Had to mention it.
I saw one and I'm gonna not remember what it is, but it was a slime guy.
Ooh.
Anyway. Nice. I don't remember what he did, but he seemed pretty cool.
Slime guy coming to you soon.
Now I really gotta find him. I'm not gonna be able to though.
That's fine. I mean,
I'm not gonna be able to. I don't even know where I saw it to find it.
Save it for next week, yeah.
Maybe.
He'll be there.
All right, Trevor, tell me about the Yakuza TV show.
We got it, man. This is topical. It just came out. Got to
talking about ninjas. Now we're talking about ninjas.
Now we're talking about modern ninjas.
Gangster ninjas? Gangsters. Just gangsters.
Just gangsters, yeah. The Yakuza like a dragon Yakuza Yakuza. It's the new TV show that came out.
What streaming platform is it on?
Amazon.
Okay.
So, fair warning, it does have an ad when you play it. Freaking Amazon. But they just dropped 3 episodes, and then I think they're doing 1 episode a week till the rest of the season comes out.
Is it just released on Amazon, or was it an Amazon production?
It was an Amazon. That's a good question. I know it's exclusively on Amazon right now.
Sure.
I don't know how much Amazon was involved in making it.
Sure.
I know they obviously had to do a lot of Japanese studio stuff because I did watch the first episode, and it looks Japanese. You can tell the world looks fine. I didn't recognize any of the actors in Japanese, but at least the English dubbed voice actors, I watched a little bit of both, are all like big names in the voice acting sphere. So they at least had some funding to like do that right, to do that well, which is cool.
Would you suggest watching it in Japanese or in Americanese?
Americanese. I don't know, it depends. I think the Japanese is probably better. It's more like true to form.
Yeah.
But again, the English voice actors for at least the two main boys are like good. They're like big voice actors.
Sure.
Which is cool. So I'll probably keep watching the rest of the show in Japanese. And maybe I'll go back in English. I don't know. But I saw one episode. Again, it looks pretty good. I think the costume designers had a lot of fun with like the Yakuza guys, especially because either they're like wearing very nice, very tailored suits, or they're wearing just these like goofy, like bright neon jackets. It's like no in between, and that's very like Yakuza, and also in the games of just like, they're very ostentatious, flamboyant, or they're very professional. So that looks fun. The story is a bit weird so far. That was my praise. I think the show looks good. It feels true to form. Voice acting is good. Drifting into the neutral territory. It's not really the story of the game at all. So I don't know. Do with that what you will. I've only seen one episode, but as far as like a crime drama set in Japan, it's okay so far. And it's about Yakuza, and some of the names are the same. So it's like I recognize it. But as a standalone story, I don't know. It's okay so far. I don't know if it's anything to write home about.
So you're one episode in, 2 episodes
one
in?
Episode
one
in,
episode in.
I'll probably watch the other 2 this weekend, I think.
So far, are you anticipating a come up in the show, or are you thinking that it's going to stay level? And are you sad about it so far?
Yeah, so I'll say I'm optimistic.
Sure.
First,
because first episodes are always a little bit dull.
Yeah,
in my opinion. It's because you're setting the story for people who aren't in the universe, right?
Well, and I think it's interesting. Obviously, I wasn't there in the writer's room, but they're trying to do an origin story.
Sure.
When it's going to be like a mini series, like I don't know how much time you have to set up an origin story.
Yeah.
If they were going to do an origin story, they have that in the games. They could have just copied that. So now they're trying to write their own origin story. So it's a little weird that the story's jumping between 1995 and 2005 Tokyo, which in the games the main character is in jail for those 10 years.
Gotcha.
And he was like already a member of the Yakuza in 1995. So far in the show, that he's like joining the Yakuza in 1995, and then in 2005 we see him get out of prison. You're like, wait, but so I think it's at least going to be neutral. Like I said, I'm optimistic. I am a little saddened though, to get to your last question, because it's not the game. I knew it wasn't going to be the game.
Yeah,
but I think the game had a great origin story. So
sure.
I didn't think it needed to be changed that much to screen. So I'm a little worried. I'm a little nervous that somebody wrote a crime drama and then co-opted the fandom. It's like, I'll just slap the Yakuza name on there.
Yeah.
Because that happens sometimes.
All the time.
Halo. We have this generic sci-fi plot.
Halo.
Let's slap the Halo name on there.
Also Borderlands.
Yeah, Borderlands. We have a generic sci-fi action heist plot. Let's slap the Borderlands name on there.
Change a couple things here and there to tweak it to the universe a little bit.
Yeah, and so I don't know who they're making it for. I know we talked about this oodles of times, but it's like the hardcore Yakuza fans are not really gonna like it.
Yeah.
And the normal people will just be like, oh, this is an okay show. Is that enough people crossover where you get them to go play your games?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you kind of liked the show. Maybe go play the games now. Like, is that good for you?
Yeah.
Is that enough?
That's a good question. Because you're right. You do want people to cross over and consume your other content.
They just did like I think yesterday or 2 days ago when the show came out, they just released the game, the first game that's been remastered since the PlayStation 2 era. The remastered version just released on Switch.
Very cool.
Like in collaboration with the show coming out.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is a good marketing campaign. Like,
I wonder if they're targeting a younger audience with it.
Yeah, maybe.
What's the show rated? Is it MA or is it 17 or
first episode? I think was only 13 plus or the TV 13 plus
14 TV 14
TV 14 I think.
So maybe a teenage audience is what they're shooting for with the Switch.
Because I was curious. I was like, they had one scene that like could have been a little darker, but they didn't actually show it. And I'm like, they showed this in the game.
Sure.
One of the characters' attempts to like cut off the nub of the pinky is like the atonement for the Yakuza. That's part of their culture. And they didn't show it. It was just like you saw him doing it, but they didn't actually show his finger or the knife.
Yeah.
Like, okay. The games are mature, rated M for mature. But
yeah.
So I don't know. I'll watch the rest of the show. It wasn't so bad, and I can separate enough and be like, okay, I know this isn't the games, but I'll watch it. I would like it to be better, but maybe it couldn't have been done. I don't know. I think it would have been funny if they kind of done over the top campy, because that's how the games are, while still having these serious undertones. But I'm worried it might just be generic serious crime drama.
Yeah.
Which I might still watch because I still like Yakuza. And, I still like the crime drama aspects of the game. Like, it's kind of cool learning the, like, Japanese gang underworld. Like,
Sure.
But the games have that plus, like, karaoke. So, you also just get normal Japanese culture, which is funny.
Yeah.
From the 90s. So,
yeah, it's interesting.
It's hard. I don't know if I should say I recommend it to you yet.
Yeah, I'll probably not watch it until you are able to watch 3-4 episodes.
Mm-hmm. And you like wait until the whole season's out anyway.
I also do that.
Yep.
So
I'll hold my final judgment, which is a Yakuza reference. There's a game named Final Judgment.
Oh, nice.
I'll hold my final judgment until the show's all out.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, you are correct. I do not like to watch episode by episode by episode. I like to be able to sit down and watch 2 episodes at a time, 3 episodes at a time.
I want to finish your show in a weekend, so then I can think about it as a whole.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I see your strategy, definitely.
Or not even, I've been watching a show recently called Industry. I don't know if I like it.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those.
But I've watched 2.5 seasons of it. It's 8 episodes each, so it's like...
It's enough to keep watching.
An hour long each, so it's like I've not enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting, and it's about like stock traders. It's very realistic, but like I don't know what the story is.
Oh, weird.
It's just kind of like a journal biopic of a bunch of people.
Interesting, yeah.
I don't know. It's captivated me for 2.5 seasons, and I'm gonna finish this 3rd season. Like,
oh, that's hilarious. You're probably gonna get a Lost feeling. Like the TV show Lost, where it's captivating. Oh, what's going on? And then the end of the show is just nothing. Like, I know a lot of people were pissed about that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are really pissed about that.
The show just didn't have an ending.
But there's no like mystery about any of it. So there's no underlying like, oh, they're on a weird island or anything like that.
Yeah, there's no compelling reason for you to keep watching. At least obvious compelling reason.
There's not, but it's. I mean. The acting is fantastic. Like it's a high production show, right? And like all the actors play their characters very well, and it shows.
Normally, yeah.
I honestly don't know if I would recommend it or not.
That's funny
because I don't know if I like it, but I'm going to finish the 3rd season.
Yeah.
Like I can't give it a rating. Because there's no story line for me to rate.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like story that goes on, right? But there's no like
stuff happening, kind of.
Yeah, stuff happens, and like you go through this. I mean, there are some story in it, right? But it's not like. Did you ever watch the show Billions?
Mm-mm.
That's a fantastic show.
Billions.
It's very similar to it gives me that similar type of vibe.
Doesn't sound like my cup of tea. But
Probably not. Like I said, and it's not a bad show though. I don't know.
Because I definitely like seeing good actors act well. But that's like, I don't know, baseline for me. I won't just watch good actors acting. I need more.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is that there doesn't seem to be like resolution of problems in this. It feels like a life.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's based on real life.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be. It's a fiction. It's a work of fiction, right? Mm-hmm. But it's a realistic fiction.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And so they talk about current. Anyway,
weird.
Got off that tangent.
Yeah.
But, so I've been watching that recently.
Stay on topic. It was Yakuza that we're promoting. We're sponsors.
Yakuza, whatever the company name is in Japanese. Konnichiwa. Would you like to sponsor us?
Yeah.
We'll do a whole video stream of me playing through every single one of your games.
Whoa. In one sitting.
Well, I don't know if I can do that, but...
Oh, okay.
But I'll play through every single game over the course of a year.
Now that they're on Switch, you can play on the go.
I could.
Yeah.
I couldn't stream it on the go.
I don't think you can stream from the Switch. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a way you can plug it in.
Certainly, yeah.
To because you can do it from your phone.
Yeah, that's right.
People do, there are Clash of Clans streamers.
I didn't need to know that. That's weird.
Yeah. It's really funny. And YouTubers, and they screen record from their phone or iPad.
That's funny.
Yeah.
The one random comment I'll say just to
I don't watch them. Just to throw that out
I'm
there.
not a fan of...
I'm not like an anti-against.
Clasher349 is the biggest Clash of Clans streamer. I would never know who he is.
Yeah.
I don't watch.
I don't know any of their names. I've never watched a single one. I just know that they exist.
That's funny. The one brief W I got to highlight again, since they had the remastered version they released on the Switch. Just a bag on Nintendo, and a W for these guys, again, the Yakuza company. $20.
Oh, nice.
For a remastered version of the game. Nintendo doesn't seem to know how to remaster their games for anything less than $60. So that was kind of funny that it's a Sega publisher. So the Sega worked with Nintendo to get their game on Switch. And they were like, and we're going to sell it for $20. But Nintendo's like, you can't do that.
Good for them.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's cool. They're trying to get more people into
everything you've told me about this company. I'm just like, this seems like a company I could support.
They're great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got no complaints.
Doesn't seem like a bad company at all.
Mm-hmm. Big fan.
Big fan. Huge fan.
Huge fan. Cool. We have... Oh, you did mention the Hasbro stock. Okay.
I did. Isreal or Guns or Vampire Survivors?
Mm-hmm.
What is Vampire Survivors?
It's a video game I've been playing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Which one? We got 3 topics to choose from, Trevor.
7 minutes. How short is Israel and Iran? That's pretty... Probably not.
I can make it short.
You can make it short?
Yeah.
Just an update? World news update?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and interesting. So, my thought was, previously on the 5G podcast. We mentioned that we are convinced, or we believe that in 75 years or whatever, that the invasion of Ukraine will mark the start of World War III.
Sure, yeah. In the history books.
In the history books, right? We might not see it now, but in the history books, we believe that World War III was started in the invasion of Ukraine.
Yeah.
Just like how now we look back at World War II and think of Hitler invading Poland as the start of World War II, when at that point no one was doing jack diddly squat, and I don't think anyone had even died at that point.
And nobody called it, yes, this is the beginning of World War II.
Yeah. So that's my belief, is that we're already in World War III, and then Israel and all its junk is part of that.
Israel, Iran, Palestine.
Yeah. So, a couple of news topics that support that theory. The first is that a couple weeks ago, I believe on the 1st of October, Iran launched a nuclear attack, a ballistic missile attack into Israel.
Yeah.
And there's obviously the whole Gaza and the Houthis. Israel's kind of fighting on both the north and the south right now, and then Iran's coming in from the west
and from above.
Well, yeah, from above, I suppose. But just either yesterday or the day before, so about 5 days since this is going to air, Israel launched a counterattack with missiles and rockets into Iran, and into Tehran as well, the capital of Iran. Iran. So yeah, that's fun. And the U.S. has sent a stealth bomber to bomb bunkers, which is great.
Oh yeah.
So
we did talk about that last week. That was fun.
Like, the U.S. has been obviously supporting both countries with weaponry, but it's always been the entities of those countries fighting with the weaponry that we provide them.
Yeah, which, and to our comparison, that's what the U.S. did in World War II for a long time. We supplied Britain
with World War One
and World War One. Like, we supplied them with weapons before actually physically joining the fight.
Yep. So
even though we're not officially on your team, we're on your team.
Yeah.
That, like, when the World War broke out, it was obvious what side America was joining.
Yep.
Like,
so, you know, we've had U.S. service members not deployed, but active duty
in the area,
fighting, doing wartime activities in that area for the benefit of one side of the war.
Yeah,
right.
Either on the
we dropped these. We used B-2 stealth bombers to drop these massive bunker busters to destroy the headquarters of these terrorist organizations.
Yeah, a
lot of terrorist leaders have died, which is interesting.
Yeah, Israel had their kind of one of their big ploy with the pagers.
There was that. Yeah,
that was pretty.
That was crazy. The pagers and the radios.
Yeah, and the radios as well.
There was some great memes from that.
Yeah, because now we're expecting the pigeons.
But the other thing, so there's that. I won't. We can stop there on that.
News.
The other thing is that the first foreign troops are in Russia to help fight in Ukraine.
Yeah, North Korea.
From North Korea. I believe it was 30,000.
Crossing over.
Yeah, it was either 3,000 or 30,000. I don't know.
I believe 30,000.
I thought it was 30, but now I'm second guessing myself.
3,000 seems like too little, but
yeah, you're right. But for some reason, I don't know.
Maybe it was actually 300,000. No,
they sent every able-bodied man.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, yeah. So North Korea has
declared their support for Russia.
Yeah,
I mean, they're literally boots on the ground helping.
At this point. So, and there was a press release or something like that from the U.S. that basically confirmed that rumor, and then also
North Korea released footage, didn't they?
Yeah,
they were all proud of it. They always are.
And then they released a statement basically saying, like, to U.S. people over there helping the fight, because we do have Americans who are part of, like, the foreign legions.
Oh yeah,
fighting in Ukraine.
Yeah, I've seen some.
It's not active duty military guys, right? It's not the U.S. military, but there's, like, guys over there helping out.
I've seen some clips, some of the some of the GoPro footage and stuff of like ex-Marines, that type of thing, and they're like helping. There's a bunch of don't know how to use like American.
There's a bunch of soldiers of fortune in Ukraine, which is interesting.
I saw one that was
a bunch of some British guys too.
The one guy had like an LMG, and the Marine was like, "Put the bipod down!" Like, he didn't even know how to like steady the LMG. Like,
there's actually a good video on YouTube of two guys who are fighting in Ukraine right now. They came to the U.S. to basically do a little bit of an anonymous interview with one of the gun YouTubers.
Oh, interesting.
And they were kind of explaining how this warfare is working right now.
Oh, okay, because they have firsthand.
They went over like the storming of the trenches that they do, the bunker busting, the drone warfare, that type of thing,
which we've seen.
Yeah. So just interesting. I mostly wanted to bring it up because we were potentially right. I'm hedging that bet. If I were a betting man, I would still go with our original opinion.
Yeah. Tying it back into the beginning of the episode.
And I'll bet you that the president, you were going to go there.
Yeah.
You can go.
Oh, obviously presidential candidates can say whatever they want. It's it's election season, but I do believe this. Me personally, Trump said, "Hey, if I get in, that war is going to be over." And frankly, he was really good at foreign policy. He's like, and he made the claim. He's like, he says, honestly, I think even as president-elect, I can get that done. I can get that war ended with Russia. I'm like, all right, I'd love to see it happen. I'd love to see that war over. So,
I don't know. I don't know how he would do that as president-elect.
Yeah,
but if he can,
he said like as president, but he's like, but maybe I'd like to as president-elect get that done. Even so,
yeah, I don't think he should.
No, wait until he's president.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah.
But if only as like in name only, like president-elect, and then he just like that scares Putin enough or something. Like
maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen.
I'm generally pro ending wars. Not that that's the only deciding factor in my vote, but
it's not mine.
Yeah.
I think there are righteous wars.
Sure.
I think that's the case.
This war,
I think that
probably needs to be ended.
Yeah. Well, and the U.S. has, for the most part, been the war ender of the world.
Yeah.
Except for after World War II.
Yeah. That's true.
When we decided to be the communist police.
Mm-hmm. Containment.
Anyway. And then we wasted thousands and thousands of lives in Korea and Vietnam.
Well, and that's a big history thing and political thing, because it's like nobody declares wars anymore. When really we should, but I don't know, we're just scared of like alliances and everything that happened in 1 and 2. Like,
yeah, because I guess Russia technically hasn't declared war on Ukraine.
Vietnam was never a war.
No, it was a policing action.
Mm-hmm. And the Middle East conflict was never a declared war. We've never declared war on a country. Like,
well, I think we couldn't on that situation because we weren't declaring war on Iran. It was on
terrorist organizations that are in charge of your country.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right now.
I honestly think that we should. I don't think that we should be able to do policing actions or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
Extra congressional military actions.
Yeah, it's just dancing around it.
I think if we're declaring war, we need to. If we're going to war, if we're sending troops somewhere,
that's war
to fight. We need to declare war.
Call it what it is, because then you can end it. It's more obvious, like, boom, it's ended.
Yeah.
We ended the war.
It's like, we don't like you for doing this, this, and this. We are declaring war on you.
If it's just...
I think the problem is that it's a little bit not politically correct to do the things in war. War allows you to do certain things.
Yep.
That non-war prevents you from doing.
Yeah.
Like the Geneva Conventions exist no matter what. Fun fact, the U.S. didn't sign those.
Yep.
So they don't apply to us unless we lose, which we won't lose.
If you don't follow the rules. Definitely not going to lose.
Well, they're not our rules.
You can't lose if you don't play.
It's like, oh yes, these two countries are going to have a knife fight. Well, we didn't sign up for those rules.
Nope.
Here's my gun. Yeah, it's more politically palatable to have policing actions where there are rules of engagement, right?
Yeah.
Instead of being able to just go in and bomb the smithereens out of a city.
So I said there's a lot of historical and political context to it, but
But I think that for like this Russia-Ukraine thing, I think that if, we want to support Ukraine, which I am very much I don't give a rip about either country.
Yeah, exactly.
Same with the Israel-Gaza thing.
It shouldn't.
I don't care at all. Like, zero care on my part. Like, I don't care. Russia can have Ukraine for all I care. Legitimately.
It was. That's their argument. It was Russia.
But yes, I don't care what their argument is, right? Like, their argument could be whatever they want it to be, right? I mean, I know Putin said that they're anti-Nazi or whatever, and it's like, whatever.
All right, whatever helps you sleep at night.
Like, that's why they're fighting, is they're trying to free the Russians from the Nazis. It's like, okay. But, I don't care.
I don't care, yeah. We didn't have to jump into this deep, Steven. Reel it back.
Sorry. There's the 7 minutes that turned into 17.
It's 12 at least.
Give me the card of the week, Trevor.
Keeping it light, you've taken away all the time from the card of the week. No, and I had a twofer this week.
Well, do your twofer.
All right.
We're going to go over by a few minutes. Oh, well.
So we have Magic Card of the Week. This is a fantastic one in many formats, which is why I did the twofer, because the other one is less known. But I was looking at Pauper decks to play. And I know this one is good in other formats. And lo and behold, it has been downshifted to common at some point. I think fairly recently. So it's even legal in Pauper. So this is Dread Return. It's
Dread Return.
2 blacks, a 4-mana sorcery. But you're never paying the 4 mana.
Oh, okay.
It's just a reanimation effect. It's return target creature card from your graveyard to play.
Oh, cool.
4 mana and black, sorcery speed. Cool.
Sure.
Flashback. So you cast it from your graveyard, sacrifice 3 creatures. There's no mana cost on that.
Oh.
Yeah. Dread Return is used in a lot of Commander can use it. Back in the day, like a long time ago, it was in Legacy decks. I don't think it's really played in Legacy anymore. But it is banned in Modern. Actually, I had to double check that. It probably could be unbanned at this point. It's an old card. But the fact that you can reanimate a giant thing in your graveyard for the low price of sacrificing 3 small things.
3 tokens if you wanted.
3 tokens is a lot more dangerous in 1v1 formats than in Commander.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
And now it's in Pauper, which is fun. And it's funny because in Pauper, it's not banned. It's less abusable because there's less big things in the graveyard.
And less token creation
Less token creation, yeah. So it's not as egregious.
That's interesting.
But paired with maybe the biggest, best creature at common is my other card of the week. It is the Lotlith Giant.
Never even heard of this guy.
No, yeah, I think he's only played in Pauper. He's 6 and a black, 7 mana, but you're never paying that. A 7 mana, 6/5 zombie giant. And when he enters the battlefield, he deals 1 damage to target opponent for each creature card in your graveyard.
That combo is brutal.
Yeah, so in Pauper, there's decks where you fill your graveyard and then you Dread Return, you reanimate this guy from the graveyard, and I have 20 creatures in the graveyard, so I dome you for 20 damage for free. I had to sacrifice 3 tokens with the Dread Return.
Or 3 1/1s or whatever.
Yeah, 3 whatevers. And if they're actual creatures, they'll go in the graveyard. So then it's more damage that the Lotlith Giant deals when he enters. So pretty neat, pretty nifty. That is like the biggest, baddest thing at common that you can reanimate. The scariest like combo potential with reanimation decks in the format. So I don't think Lotlith Giant really has a place in other formats, but Dread Return certainly does.
Yeah.
That reanimation style. So
yeah, that's really cool, actually.
I wanted to share that. It's pretty fun. I was looking at some of the deck lists, and they all run slightly different variants. A lot of them run Dredge, which is one of my favorite mechanics from Magic the Gathering. It's not super good in Pauper, but it's playable. It's playable. The Legacy version of the Dredge deck runs no lands, which I think is hilarious. It's my favorite Legacy deck. Because it's the only deck in any competitive format of Magic where you want to go second. Your ideal turn is going second. You draw cards or your 8 cards in hand, and then you pass and do nothing.
And then have to discard.
And then you discard at the end of the turn and you win the game. That's hilarious to me. That's my favorite. In Pauper, though, the Dredge deck with these guys, it runs like 10 lands. So it's very low amount of lands still, because you just fill your deck with a bunch of garbage creatures. So you can put them all in the graveyard and reanimate the Lotlith Giant and then just kill your opponent.
That's funny.
Yeah. No, that's my 2-for Magic card of the week for all you reanimator Magic nerds out there.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. And there it is.
That's it. That's all I got. Thank you for watching this week's episode of the 5G Podcast.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see more.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks.